Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
Yes. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. It's a Tuesday edition of Orange Nation. And as we mentioned on the show yesterday, we spoke with Gerry McNamara and Vinny Lobdell prior to the show today. We recorded an interview with them this morning. We will play that back for you coming up here in about 5 minutes. It's we're with them for about 20 minutes, so we'll play that back for you here shortly. And then Greg Fahey, the new general manager of Syracuse basketball, joins us live at 12:30. And then we'll mix in your phone calls throughout in hour number 2 at 315-437-7644.
How'd you sleep last night, Steve? You didn't ask me what's up.
I didn't ask you what's up. I did not sleep enough. The NBA game went late.
Yeah, I was up watching
Got
that.
home late and then up very early for Jerry and Vinny this morning. But so quick turnaround. But
I was flipping between the Knicks game and the Padres game last night, and was up late. So yeah, I was here.
I had a feeling last night. The series was on the line. I mean, if they lose that game, it's over. And the Spurs needed a win, and they got off to a fast start, which I was expecting. Knicks came back. Spurs were the better team down the stretch. They made the plays this time. Wemby coming up big with 32. Stephon Castle was great with 23. And, there was a foul disparity that Mike Brown was not too pleased with in the second half. But Spurs, get their first win on the board here, and we've got a series on our hands now.
Yeah. And I was saying yesterday on our WSYR show that we I was just looking at we have new mic stands in our studio, and it's completely blocking me and the camera now. So
was that right?
Yeah. So I was just distracted by. I think the Spurs have to win both these games on the road and give themselves a chance to get back into.
There you go. Turn the mic to the side. Perfect. Yeah. There you go.
Back into the
in the series.
The series,
well, they needed that one last night, and you're right. I mean, ideally they get them both, and then it becomes a best of 3. They needed last night's win, and they got it, and they played well down the stretch.
Is it weird that the fans automatically assume it's fixed because the Knicks lost one game in the playoffs? Like, it's way too early to be thinking it's fixed.
Yeah, and again, I think just the way that sports work, the team that plays with more urgency generally has an edge. Even though New York had the home court last night, the urgency was certainly on San Antonio's side. And so San Antonio came out with urgency. They immediately jumped out to, a 9-point lead or whatever it was. I think it was 11 by the end of the first quarter, 12 at one point in the first half. And then the Knicks chipped away and took a lead. But again, the Spurs absolutely had to have that one. And, when you're up against the ropes, how do you respond? And San Antonio is the Western Conference champ for a reason. And they won on the road in the Western Conference. Like, you know that they're capable of winning on the road. So, again, was not shocked by the result last night. Now game 4, again, feels like everything for the Spurs. Because to your point, if they lose it, you're down 3-1. It's darn near impossible to come back from, having to reel off 3 wins in a row, especially against the way, this Knicks team and the way they're playing.
Wouldn't the fix actually be the fact that the Knicks were mediocre in the regular season and the East had no storyline whatsoever going into the playoffs, like the Pistons, and then you're going to go undefeated, basically, in the playoffs.
Here's the thing.
That would be more of a fix than anything.
You can't fix the way that they are playing.
I'm sure
right?
you could.
I mean, the way that they are dominating and making, like, you can't make them make shots, right? And they went through a stretch where, 13 wins in a row, and I think 11 of those were by double figures or whatever it was, and they were shooting lights out and just clobbering people.
Well, yeah, that's just making it so that the world's biggest television market just gets a
no, but you know what I'm saying.
Into the playoffs, into the finals.
This wasn't like a call here or there went their way and they won some close games. I mean, this was just full domination for 13 games in a row. So no, I don't think the game was fixed last night. I think it was a very close game. It was an entertaining game, and the team that needed to win made an extra play or two down the stretch, and they got the win. All right, we don't want to fall behind here. We're going to take a break. I know it's a little bit earlier than normal, but that was our opening drive. It was albeit short, but that was our opening drive, brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero and Burdick Toyota. Yeah, we're all warmed up now. We'll get to that interview with Gerry McNamara, Vinny Lobdell coming up next, and then Greg Fahey, new GM of Syracuse basketball, joins us at 12:30. Just getting started here on a Tuesday edition of Orange Nation. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Yeah, I forgot to get Wilson Phillips, so we're just going regular bumps today. Maybe let's just do regular bumps for eternity.
Over 500 pre-owned to choose from, all here at Drivers Village.
Thank you. I'm looking hot today, according to Nanch 60. I need to go get my hair cut. What? I thought this was the same mic stand. I don't know why it was all up in my mug like that. I am not giving away fish tickets. Why do you keep asking me that? I'm going to block you. I'm on a blocking spree. I'm a dictator. I'll block you if you ask about fish again. No threats today. How do you feel about Rush's new drummer? What's my favorite type? Steve's is salmon. I know that.
What's that?
Favorite type of fish?
Yeah.
Like to eat?
Yes.
I would say sword for mine. Well, Michael Antonio, we already did the interview, so too late. I haven't cooked fish since I moved into an apartment building. I don't want to stink up my whole hallway.
Considerate of you.
His wife used to listen to the show, Orange Johanna, because she used to stop me in the hotel lobbies when we were on the road and be like, I don't know how you do it. And it stresses her out.
Yeah, we should. Well, you'll find out in the interview, but they haven't moved here yet.
Yeah.
His family hasn't moved here yet. So I don't think she's listening to the show right now, although she could on QSportsTalk.com or YouTube for that matter.
Steve, do you close your eyes when listening to Paul Davis? That's a good question.
Depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
I was lifting weights the other day, and I wish I could remember what it was. I thought of you like that's just the most inappropriate lifting song ever. And I didn't care.
You didn't care.
It was like I had the time of my life, something like that. But I was digging it. Good fish doesn't stink, but your hallway stinks if you cook fish. I made chocolate roast coffee this morning, and my whole it smelled delicious, but my whole hallway smelled like it. We actually know exactly where he's getting a house. We asked him off the air. Thank you, and good night. Do you dance with your hands above your head at weddings? Like you don't care.
It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again.
You didn't even answer that one. I live in an apartment building. I can't grill it. No roof access, I don't think. If I do this, that's seems kind
That's what I did.
Seems
I got rid of the hump.
Yeah, I'm hump free. No balcony, no. My window's barely open, like that much. Oh no! Oh no! Welcome back. Welcome back to Orange Nation. There goes the no-hitter. I don't have Wilson Phillips or a bump, so we're good.
You don't have a bump because you took them out?
I don't know what I did, Steve. I really don't know what I did.
It's something. We'll take it.
I got a feeling that this ain't going to be a good show.
Well, we know the next 20 minutes are good because we already did that, right? This morning we had a chance to catch up with Gerry McNamara and Vinny Lobdell here in studio. Vinny, of course, hosting the Summer Jam event out in Skinny Atlas. We touched on that and a wide variety of topics, but we led off with asking Gerry about his ankle. He kind of drove in on a scooter. We know he's been dealing with a bad ankle for a while now, and we asked him for an update on how he's feeling.
Total ankle replacement. You know, I've needed it for. I think anyone that's played golf with me can visibly see, like, hey, what's wrong with your ankle? Why is it bent to the outside? So years of just, rolling it, playing on it, it ended up deforming. Years of coaching on it, knowing I needed it done. I had reached a breaking point the last few years. I haven't worked out. If you can't tell, I haven't worked out in a few years. It's been hard. But I wanted to be available for the players I coached. And this past year at Siena, I just couldn't do it anymore. Late in the season, it started flipping bone over bone or tendon over bone, and I had already planned the surgery. So put the roster together when we got the job here, and as you can see, I got the surgery. I had a great surgeon, Dr. Rosenbaum in Albany, and we're on the mend right now.
You all settled in? Is the family here yet? They're probably finishing up school, right?
I'm sick and tired. I need to get out of a hotel. I can't do it anymore. I love the place I'm staying, but I've got to settle into normalcy. Our kids are going to finish school. We're not going to yank them out of school. They'll finish school next week. We have one more lacrosse tournament up there, and then we're going to close on a house at the end of the month. And by the start of July 1, we'll be, all settled. It'll be nice for me to have the fam back all together.
Speaking of normalcy, how different is it being up in the Mello Center, being in a different office and in a different role?
I spent a lot of time. I walked in, it was like I never left, number one. But the office is different. That's for sure. And now, making it mine is different. That's when I knew, like, this feels, wow. Like, when I walk in and it's my family pictures behind the desk. And, I don't spend a whole lot of time at the desk. We spend more time meeting, getting ready for practice and breaking down film. But kind of a full circle. I used to avoid it. When Coach was in there, it's like, hey, Coach, I'd yell from the outside and make sure not to disturb him. And now I sit and I've refurbished his old desk that he used at Manley Fieldhouse. And kind of my honor, way to honor him is my main desk is Jim Boeheim's original desk, which I think is awesome. Yeah, and they did a great job. So really excited, obviously, to get going. But walking in that room is a blessing.
We're going to get to the roster and the schedule and all that here in a second, but I want to bring Vinny into the conversation. How'd the two of you get close, this partnership here that you've established?
Well, I've known Gerry and followed Gerry for a long time, and just, through participating with Syracuse University, Gerry's always just embodied that true grit, determination, someone I've loved to follow, love to see him lead in the community. And so we've stayed close as he left and went away. We were both doing our own things. And then when he came back, we came together and said, how do we make this program the best it can be? And, I think the community, put aside anything we're doing, I think the community is just so excited to have someone like Gerry here. He embodies everything that Syracuse is, right? And I think so. He's an easy guy to get behind. And Syracuse Orange in general is an easy thing to get behind. But it's really an exciting time now for us to come together as a community and just bring it all together and win.
I was going to say, I think there's kind of a misconception, too, that you're just coming in because of Gerry. You've been around, right? You've been doing this for a couple of years.
Coach Boeheim's been a great friend, obviously a legend in the community. And this is our professional sport. And I love sports. My family loves sports. And so we've been proud supporters for a very, very long time. Now the stakes have changed, right? We have to win. We got to win. And what I love about Gerry is he's got that no-quit personality, roll up his sleeves, and no matter what happens, he's going to step up and give it his best. And that's what's really exciting about Gerry. I know we'll win with him.
This goes without saying, Gerry, but how important is it to have somebody like Vinny on your side?
You need it. You can't operate in this landscape if you don't have help. I think the one thing that above just financially, what the help is Vin being so out in the public in terms of like, hey, this is what it takes. This is exciting. Creating an event. We had a lot of Syracuse guys at Siena. Me, Ryan Blackwell, Arenze, Ryan Bury. When we saw his event, the SummerSlam event last summer, you could see it all on Instagram. I wasn't there. I was like, dang, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat event. I think it's unlike anything that's been done. But for us to operate in this landscape, you absolutely need, especially us, especially Syracuse. I think we're unique in that, it's a big town but a small town feel. Everybody rallies around this product, and you need everybody on board because it's just we're dealing in a completely different landscape than we used to.
And it's not just a check. It's really just building enthusiasm around the program. It's going out and giving your time. And I think the community really now understands NIL. For a few years, they didn't, right? Let's face it. We didn't know where it was going. And I think the university really understands it now. So it's a different day, and the stakes are high, but I think everyone's on the same page, and it's really exciting to see everyone get behind it, whether it's a check, whether it's enthusiasm, whether it's supporter, mentorship. It's a really, really exciting time.
Yeah, as you're alluding to, it takes a lot of money to put together a competitive roster. Let's talk about the roster. What do you want fans to know about this roster that you've put together?
Well, I think they've seen it. I think they've seen in terms of what we were after, the length, the athleticism, the toughness. We're going to play both sides of the basketball. I think for me, it's a little tough because I've started summer workouts and I'm still waiting for Mark and Sibby to come over. So I haven't seen us you guys obviously have talked about that from the look you just gave each other. So I haven't seen our complete product yet, which I'm like chomping at the bit every day to get these guys. But you got to deal with I-20s and visas. Take some time. But I think I think Aiden Tobias, and you watched him play. He went through his draft process. Anybody that watched him play, you see his talent. You see he can play multiple positions. There's a lot of guys. Gavin Doty, the toughness piece. Garway with his length. Ryan Mesh is exciting. I could go down the list. The one thing that I know of all the guys that I brought in and the guys that I retained, I think let's start there. You talk about Sadiq and Cayenne. I made a decision when I got the job that if you were in the transfer portal, I wasn't going to re-recruit you. I wasn't going to ask you to come out of the portal. One of the things that was important to me is the guys that didn't enter, that they love Syracuse. Those two kids love Syracuse. That's why they stayed here. I like to think I played a little bit part, like, yeah, they want to play for me, but first and foremost, you love the school. And to me, in this day and age where it is transactional in a lot of places, it's important to me that I have players. So think about that. Those two guys stayed. They love it. Gavin Doty's coming home. Ryan Mesh is coming home. That's 4 players right there that when they put that jersey on, it just means something different. It's important for me as I coach the rest of the 8 guys that are on scholarship, or 9 guys, whatever it is, that are on scholarship, that they feel the same way with Noah, that they feel the same way when they put on the jersey. What's lost in all of that is our love for the place. So, yeah, these guys are making money, but I'm going to put a roster together that's going to fight for the product.
Past couple years, the point guard position's been a little sketchy. Garway Dwall, people don't know a lot about him. What do you expect out of him?
Well, you're talking about probably, maybe a handful of guys in the country that could defend the ball the way he does. You could probably play him out of position and play him up to the 4, watching him the first few days in practice. I think for him, he's got to find the comfort zone. And we had this conversation yesterday. He has to find, I think he's trying to please me a little bit in terms of running an offense when we're in practice, as opposed to understanding that he has to do a certain thing in a certain place. So he has to find the fine balance of when he should go score and when he needs to facilitate. And if he could do that a little bit better right now, maybe that 15-footer I had a kid at, a lot of coaches don't like the shot. I like guys that can make it. If he could get to that shot because he can live in the paint and be a breakdown guy, I think he's got a chance to be as good as any guard in the league.
Who's his backup? That's another question that comes up. If he's not on the ball, who's going to be your
backup point guard?
Yeah.
Ryan Mesh is as pure a point guard as you're going to find. I know guys, will question his ability. I'm not. I don't care that he's 5'11". Watch him play. I watched him play against the best players in the country. I watched him play. Go watch his high school team when they played at the nationally ranked, where a kid's going to wherever. Who played better? That's what I watch. So everyone could talk about, Ryan Mesh, really good player. Aiden Tobias can play multiple positions. Gavin Doty can play multiple positions. Kai obviously can handle the ball. I don't know how much time he spends at the point, but he could also play multiple positions. So in terms of pure point guard, who backs him up? Ryan Mesh.
Practice is underway. We've been seeing little snippets on social media. It seems like, from what we've seen, and we don't want to draw too many conclusions, but it seems like Gavin Doty already feels like a leader of this team. I know it's super early. Is this team already starting to find an identity, and is that accurate to say that Gavin Doty is maybe one of the leaders of this team already?
Yeah, I think it's all accurate. Gav is just, one of the things that he can't help himself. He's just a vocal, wants to win, loves the place, attitude. But one of the things that we do as well is we pray before every practice. We will huddle, and Gav is the one that leads us in prayer. He did the same thing for us his second year at Siena. It was actually Luke Checky, who was one of my walk-ons, who's a local kid from Auburn. Luke led us my first year. So Gav leads us in prayer before practice, right before we start. And we keep it moving. But, yeah, the identity is being created. That's why I'm a little upset that I don't have my full strength. I need these guys to get on campus by next week so we can kind of acclimate them into what we're doing and understand for them over the next 5 weeks of what I expect as we move forward.
How big of a role will the guys that are coming in play from overseas? Like, past couple of years, we've had guys come in that didn't really move the needle at all.
Well, Mark is, I didn't even talk about him in terms of his ability. He's an elite shooter. He's one of the best scorers coming over from that age group in Europe. So Sebi, I think, wouldn't surprise me in a few years if you're talking about draft boards with his long-term ability. So they better come in and be ready to play. That's been the goal. That was the recruitment. It wasn't a filler piece. It was, we're going out and getting guys that could play, that we expect to play huge roles. So I think Mark, with his ability to shoot, it's going to determine how much of a role that he takes on. And then to piggyback the earlier conversation, how good are you with the ball? Because the reality of it is, there's, in a lot of my sets, you could have 2 point guards. It doesn't matter who brings it up. I have a lot of different wrinkles. So whoever can get the ball up, I can find a way to get the ball to the player I'm trying to get the ball to, depending on what set I call. So I think Mark's going to play a huge role. I think Sibby gives us a little bit something different than we don't have. Luke Wilson's really good in the post. Tazzy Goodrick's really physical. Francis, the same thing. Where Sibby is that long, freaky athlete that alters everything around the rim. So you got kind of contrasting styles and different players, and these two guys I expect a lot of as they come over.
From a scheduling standpoint, you've got 4 neutral site games at NBA arenas. You've got the ACC-SEC Challenge at Oklahoma. You've got Duke, Carolina, Virginia all coming here. Challenging schedule year one. Did you accomplish with the schedule what you were hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, most of it is already kind of in place when you get here, and then there's a couple filler games, but you have to have opportunities before you enter conference play, and I think we've done that. I like the teams that we're playing against, but I think it challenges us. The 18-game schedule is a little different, but it's going to challenge us in the non-conference to get ready for what can we do down the stretch is becoming your best version. And the schedule we have here for the fans, I mean, what
What can you
What
ask
better?
for?
Yeah, what better opponents could you? If you look at Duke, Carolina, Louisville, like if
So
name
who's
all,
who, yeah.
it's the who's who is coming into our place, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us. I don't care who we play. Like even the St. John's, like I wanted the Garden, and let's go roll it out.
So along those lines, so you broke some news with John Rothstein about the Garden. You broke some news with Adam Shine about maybe UConn down the road. Do you want to break some news with that? Is there anything you're sitting on that you want to share with us, and just throw us a nugget here? And if not,
they should have prepped me before. I could have figured out what I could leak for
all right,
you.
you think about that first. You want to think about that for a second?
Yeah.
All right, Vinny, tell us about
Bucknell?
In Scranton.
Tell us about SummerSlam and what people can expect this year.
Yeah, SummerSlam, we're bringing the 2026 team in. It's going to be great. We've got Gerry and Carmelo doing a great on-court conversation. It's really an amazing event that brings the community together, some of the top local businesses and leaders, and we're going to just bring them all together, show what this team can do in a fun, informative way, and great fireworks, a great event just to bring the community together. We're really excited about it. We did it last year. This year's going to be at a completely different level. The university's been so supportive. They've come in and used a lot of resources to really bring it to the next level.
I know that when Gerry was announced, you kind of sprung into action with the fundraising aspect of it, and you said fans are excited. Can you speak to that piece about, this community seems like it has come together to support Gerry and what they're trying to do.
So NIL's been a tough thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people still struggle with paying players. It's just the mentality of, hey, these guys are getting a free education and everything. The reality of it is it's here. And so now I think people understand that. The university is certainly supportive, understands the NIL role, the new administration. The fans are starting to get it. When we launched the fundraiser to go out and get a lot of money for Gerry, there were so many people that reached out and said, hey, we want to partake, but we can't give 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. It was amazing. Thousands of people reached out to me, and that's why we started a GMac challenge. And it's really a testament to Gerry and his team and what he stands for. I mean, Gerry embodies everything that Syracuse stands for. And so we had a ton of people come out for that. And now you see the same moving over into the SummerSlam. I mean, everyone wants to take part in it. It's really not me. Everything has to do with Gerry, the program, the university, and how excited they are to have one of our own come back and hopefully bring us back to the promised land where he led us once before.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I struggle to avoid getting into confrontations with negative people about Syracuse basketball.
No.
And one of the things is you mentioned Melo, and what is your guys' relationship with him right now? And, we actually get calls that people don't think he should be sitting courtside during games. And,
let me touch on that first. I couldn't think of I have no idea what goes on from a coaching perspective. I'll share my perspective. Melo's, he's a fan first. I think he really loves the program. He's always a gentleman when he sits with me, and he always really looks for the best in the program. And I've never heard him say a negative word about anybody in the program or around the program when he sits with me.
You want my take as well? Okay, yeah. He can sit wherever he wants. I don't care where he sits.
That's what I said. He can sit
wherever he wants, and he's there to watch his son as well. So I agree with Vin. I mean, all these years that he's been gone before Kai got here, he was a fan. He rooted the same way I did when I left to play pro. I was going back and rooting for Syracuse. He did that all those years too. So now he gets to sit. If my son was playing at Syracuse and if I was a Hall of Fame player, I could sit courtside. Where do you think I'd be sitting? I'd be sitting right there where he's sitting. So yeah, I mean, keep getting into your arguments, Paulie.
Any added pressure having him watch you?
No. Players are players. I do a job. Basketball, in a lot of ways, majority of it is definable. Like, hey, there's a reason why X, Y, and Z took place. And I'm just going to continue to coach the kids, get them put them in best position I can. And then what they do with the minutes they get, a lot of times determines how many more they get. And if that goes your way or doesn't go your way, it's usually in the tail of the game. So extra pressure, my pressure is on getting this program back to, that's where my mind is at. To me, he's a really coachable, loving kid that when I push him, he looks at me straight in the eyes. Like, that's what I love about the kid. He's coachable, and he's obviously very talented offensively. So no pressure, just do the best I can to make sure I put these guys in the right position.
Anything we didn't touch on, Gerry, that you want to get across to our fans, your fans?
Just how I think just how excited how excited I am to be back here, to have this opportunity, how grateful and blessed I am, how much it means to me. But but just from the outside, what Vinny's done in terms of, putting NIL kind of at the forefront of like, hey, this is important. His event's going to be awesome. I saw it from the outside looking in, now going to be on the inside. So, just know that we're doing everything we can to make sure that when that product hits the floor, we got the most prepared team.
People can can buy tickets to go to this.
Yeah, we'll send the information on that. But yeah, they can. It's going to be about 400 people, and we all know that not everyone can afford $1,000 a ticket. But there's going to be many more opportunities for people to see the team and experience that. And again, it's not just about writing the check. It's about supporting the program. It's about mentorship. It's about just going out and doing what we can to create the best experience for.
I got one more question for you, Gerry. If I decide maybe it's time that I'm too old to be driving around, can I get on planes with you again, or is it still
No chance.
Every time I fly with Gerry,
it's the worst.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah. I don't want you ever on a flight that I fly on again.
Okay.
What was the last? Was it Michigan State?
No, it was the Final Four flight.
Yeah.
But,
people probably don't know that story. I don't know how much that's been talked about.
I was sitting next to Jeremy McNeil, and when a dude that size starts crying next to you, it gets scary. We were, a minute into the flight, and it just
started dropping. Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Wow.
And then you haven't been on a plane since?
No, I rented a van and drove back from the national championship.
Yeah, and the Michigan State flight was really bad. Or Notre Dame.
Notre
Dame, we had to divert.
Yeah, and Michigan State was bad. My last 3 flights were
bad.
3 in a row?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I've been fined since.
So stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away. Gentlemen, it was great to see you. It's good to have you back,
Thank you,
Gerry.
guys. Yeah.
Vinny, thanks for coming
Pleasure,
in.
man.
Appreciate it.
You're the best.
All right, Gerry McNamara, Vinny Lobdell, we're going to take a break. We're back after this on Orange Nation. They got out of here quickly. It was like instantaneous.
They had to go to practice.
Shows interview's over and they disappeared.
Thanks. I'm glad we lived up to your expectations. Not a bad interview for a soft liberal loser. I'm calling myself a soft liberal loser from now on. What I just said, soft liberal loser. I saw Philly's Most Wanted's in the chat. He calls me MAGA. Gavendo calls me soft liberal. Jeremy McNeil was, quit playing. This is playing. Like, we were like coming off the seats. It was falling that fast.
This was like after winning a national championship?
No, this was on the way to the Final Four.
Okay.
Yeah. He said he would see how tough I was outside of work. I take that as yes. I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm a soft liberal who hates America. I don't want to go to dinner with anybody, especially someone that talks like that. I'm just saying it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get banned, and what he said was worthy of being banned. Tronic, you would be shocked at how many sports teams pray before their games, too, whether it's a religious school or not. You're allowed to pray. They don't have to if they don't want to.
You see it in the NFL every Sunday. And, guys run into the end zone before the opening kickoff, and teams having a prayer after the game.
Nobody's really challenging it. I would just say it was deserved. Yes, if you ask about fish every show, I'll ban you. I banned someone for saying Kadari Richmond's name after I said not to say it. I let him back in. It was a 10-minute ban. You get timed out. Go sit in the corner and think about what you said. Just for regular bump day. A lot of Orange basketball to talk about, Steve.
Yeah, we just heard from Gerry McNamara. Now we're going to hear from the new general manager of Syracuse basketball, as we are pleased to be joined by Greg Fahey. Greg, thanks for the time. Sorry that we're running a few minutes behind here, but
it's your boss's fault. It's Jerry's fault.
I was just going to say it's your boss's fault. It's our first chance to talk to you, though. So I guess let's start with why Syracuse. How did this come to be for you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've known Gerry since I was a high school coach when I was 23 years old. Bahram, I came up here and played for you guys. So, that relationship started a while ago. So it comes down to the people in this business. So being able to work for Gerry and the Syracuse brand, that was a no-brainer. So when that opportunity came, I jumped all over it.
All right, you touched a little bit on your coaching journey. So walk us through it. How'd you get into coaching? And, how did you get into a role like this as things evolved for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a high school coach, like I said, St. Benedict's Prep for 3 years. Then I went D3. From there, I got my first break with Ed Cooley at Providence. Spent 4 years at Siena after that. Then went to Georgetown as a special assistant. That's where this kind of role evolved. I spent that year at Georgetown learning about NIL. I was in every meeting with Coach Cooley, every Board of Regents meeting, every donor meeting. So got a first-class education on a startup at Georgetown. Then I went to Hampton with one of my close friends, Ivan Thomas, associate head coach, general manager down there. Was able to put those skills to use down at Hampton, where you got to think a little more creatively. And then, got this opportunity here. And then I started out as a student manager, though, at Marist. That was my original. Didn't really know a ton about coaching. Was pursuing another career, and then was like, hey, maybe I'll try this coaching thing, and then ran with it.
So, we've talked on the show, and I don't know how much of the interview you just heard with Gerry, but, he was talking about getting Syracuse basketball to where it once was. Mm-hmm. You've been doing this for a little bit. When you hear Syracuse, what does that brand mean to you? What does that brand mean on a national scale for people? And I guess, how do you get back to what it, has meant for so many for so long?
Yeah, it's a national brand, like you said. What it means is winning and bringing it back to the NCAA tournament and getting it back there and getting it rolling, packing the dome and all that. How do you do it? You got to be great with relationships. You got to be great relationships in AAU, grassroots, great with relationships with your community. I think if you put relationships and people first, that's the way to build the program back up. And Gerry's done a great job of that. Obviously, he's loved in this community. We have a great staff. I've known a lot of these guys for a while, so I think we have the people to do it. And just that plan in place and then executing. You have to be able to execute.
I would imagine that much of the roster, or some of the roster at the very least, was filled out before you got here. Can you give us a feel for, I guess, how much input you've had on the roster, or are you already looking ahead to next year?
Yeah. I got here a little late, as you guys know, when I was announced. Gerry and I had been talking, but I wanted to make sure I left the right way at Hampton, and he was gracious enough to let me do that. So, and then we're focusing on getting this group better right now. But you're always recruiting, right? So you got to be, forward thinking and whatnot. So there's definitely guys that you got to think about, and you got to be, ready for anything that comes our way. So yeah, for me, I did get here late, and then now it's just establishing the processes and the systems that you can set in place to help this program move forward. And for what you're talking about, like next year.
It certainly seems like Gerry had a certain profile of player in mind, and he's laid that out for us. Positional size and versatility and athleticism, and guys who are going to buy in on the defensive end of the floor. As you look at this roster, and again, I realize you didn't have a lot to do with it, but from the outside looking in, and now that you're getting to know these guys, can you give us your observations, your takeaways of this roster that fans are going to get to know over the course of the next few months?
Absolutely. I think the number one thing, the most important thing to Gerry is that you play hard. That's been, in my short time here, that has been at the forefront of every conversation, playing hard and playing hard every day and stacking good days. So like in the practices that I've been in, these guys play hard. They're relentless. They compete every single day, which is not always the case in college basketball. So I think that's the most important thing, and that's the best quality that this team's going to have, that they're going to be relentless. They're going to play hard. I think both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, they're going to be, I just see these dudes competing every single day because that's what he demands, and it's not always – not everyone plays hard. Like, that's a myth in college basketball. So to get your guys to play hard and get guys that want to run through a wall for you, and he's able to command and do that, I think that's what the fans are going to be excited to see, a team that competes every single night.
Now, a big part of your job, it's not just identifying the right players, but you got to deal with dollars and cents now too, right? With NIL and budgets and all that. Can you give us an idea of, I guess, how much of a jump the budget of every school kind of went up this offseason? It seems like the prices, the price tag of players really skyrocketed this offseason. Can you give us an idea of just how much that whole NIL piece went up during the offseason for everybody, not just for Syracuse?
I mean, and there was reports out there, right, like 60%, 35%. It's all over the board, but it's really like, what the market is set at, and then you have to determine, is that player worth it, right? You have to have systems in place like, hey, like, is this guy worth this? Is this guy worth that? And then you have to be constantly talking to agents and people from the boardroom to the street, right, that have information, intelligence. Like, that's what a good, like, assistant coach, GM, whatever it is, like, does, right? So you have to gather that intel, what you're talking about, and be able to be like, okay, like this kid is asking for this, but this kid is also asking for this, like what's worth what, right? So like for an exact number, there's been reports all over the place. I think that varies from roster to roster in regards to like what you had to jump. And then also you just gotta have a good base and a good sound knowledge of the market, because there's always going to be people that are asking for more than maybe they're worth, right? But then at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta determine what do you value as a head coach. Like, if this guy plays really hard, just talked about Gerry loving players that play really hard, like someone might value that more, right? If a coach loves shooting, they might value that more. So you have to determine what the market is set at, and then what you're willing to pay for it.
Along those lines, Greg, a common question we get a lot on the show is, where does Syracuse stack up in the NIL space? Mm-hmm. Do you have a feel for, and I know you're new on the job here, but do you have a feel for where Syracuse stacks up? And are you comfortable with where Syracuse is right now in the NIL space?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're definitely competitive. I'm very 100%. I think that this is, like you just said, it's a national brand. So you're going to have people that back you and are supporting you. I think people are excited for Gerry to be here, and I think that we're right where we're supposed to be, and obviously you're going to push and push forward to continue to be better and get more, but I'm really, really comfortable where we're at.
In terms of doing your job day in and day out, can you give us an idea of what goes into your job? I mean, how much are you around the current team and working with those guys? And as you said, you're always recruiting, you're always looking. There's got to be forward thinking. So what's a normal day or a normal week for you, Greg?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's so many different ways you can go with this GM hire, as you've seen throughout college basketball. And I think there's different coaches are going to use it differently, right? So like for me, I think a little differently. Like I'm looking at everything from researching chief marketing officers of like big brands, right? How do we get involved with that, and how do we get them incorporated to the other end of the spectrum with recruiting and international and FIBA events and going overseas, and then really just trying to be. I'm a college coach that is a GM too, right? When I was at Hampton, so I'm trying to be an extension of these assistant coaches' relationships too, and support them. And how can I help them? Because I know how the machine works in college basketball because I was, living it. So I'm coming from a college basketball background. That's what I think, the advantage is. So if I can support these assistants with their relationships, and then on the other end of the spectrum, can I use, the business savvy knowledge that I learned from Ed Cooley and my time at Georgetown and Providence and apply that to help the program raise more, then I think you get both ends of the spectrum. I think you got to think outside the box, and I'm a naturally curious person for better or worse. I was the kid at the lunch table at 10 years old getting yelled at for asking too many questions. So, that's just who I am,
Well, it served you well. It certainly served you well along the way. You just brought up international players a moment ago, and you guys have, 3 of them on this roster. How do you go about recruiting international players? And I guess more importantly, how do you evaluate, because the game over there, the game where they're playing, it's not necessarily the game that they're going to be playing here at a Power 4 level with major Division I college basketball. How do you evaluate how their games will translate to what they're going to see in the ACC?
Yeah, great question. First off, our staff has good eyes, right? So you got to trust your eyes, number one, when you're evaluating. But then obviously it's a big investment, so you got to do your research. If you're a private equity guy and you're buying a business, you're not just going to say, oh yeah, it looks good, let me buy it, right? So you're going to do your research on these players. You have guys overseas that you trust, they can provide intelligence. You go to these FIBA events, you can see these guys playing. You understand, okay, they play for this club and they play in this league. Okay, that's comparable to this. So it's really just entrenching yourself in that environment, and then also having resources that you can lean on, and you can say, okay, have you seen him play against this? Or what type of person is he, right? Is he a good person? Does he play hard? Again, that's Coach McNamara's thing. Does he play hard? So I think it's a little bit of both, but goes back to having a system in place. Obviously, you got to trust your eyes and evaluate. And then also, do you have boots on the ground over there that can say, hey, yeah, this league is this league is that, not that league, right? So, because you guys make a great point. You don't know how it's going to translate exactly, but you got to do your best to do a ton of research, and then ultimately trust your eyes.
I know we're running short on time here. I want to get your thoughts on the 5-for-5 rule. Do you like it? Number one, and number two, how does it change things with recruiting high school kids versus guys out of the portal versus guys out of the portal who only have 1 year left versus multiple years left? How does the 5-for-5 change your job?
I mean, it changed because you can retain everybody now, right? Everybody can stay. If there's another year now, is that realistic in college basketball? Obviously not. But I think that it changes in that way where you can retain guys. I think I saw a tweet yesterday. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but they were saying that prep school basketball is saved now because it won't start till they're 19. So that would have been a huge change if guys, prepped and the clock already started, they wouldn't want to go to prep school, right? So I think strategy-wise, the red shirt goes away. So is the first year a development year? Do kids go lower that first year? But I think it comes down to, retention, the ability to retain. And it's just interesting. Retention is fascinating. I think that coaches, the elite coaches will do a great job at that. Obviously you have to have the means to retain guys. I was at Hampton, if a guy averages 20 points a game, he's going to go, support his family. I can't retain him. But if you can retain with this 5-for-5, I think that's how you'll be able to get ahead and you'll be able to measure that.
I feel like we could talk to you all day. I know you're a busy man, so we'll let you go. But we really enjoyed this, Greg. Enjoy the start of your summer and enjoy having the team here in town. And we look forward to talking with you more and more as things move along here. Thanks so much for the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Greg Fahey, new general manager for Syracuse basketball, joining us here on the program. We'll take a timeout. We'll check in on the market, and then we'll get to hour number 2, where we'll open up the phone lines the rest of the way. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Good job, Steve. I had hit my question quota for the day in the Gerry interview.
Yeah. Got to pace yourself, Paulie.
Oh, no. We don't need that. Oh, God help us. We don't need that heavy.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you for saying that. I enjoyed that. He seems like a really sharp young man. I agree with Alphabet Guy. They seem to have strong leadership.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Last thing I'm saying on this, Michael Antonio, is it's not smearing someone by banning him. You can't say things in a chat that we don't want representing our page. What you guys talk about, if we say it's okay for you to say that, it's not good.
Greg graduated from Marist in 2013, so he's like 35. I visited Marist when I was looking at schools. Good, I liked it a lot. It's good school, good communications program there, and that he graduated with a degree in communications.
That isn't a smear if you say blank was banned. They got themselves banned.
Why are we still talking about this?
I don't know. They're just obsessed.
Okay.
Ever been drunk at the fair? Yes, I have. I know you're the one that's clearly not getting it.
I think that most people know where the line is, what can be said and what can't be said. And if you say something that crosses the line, those are the consequences.
Yeah,
and
Michael Antonio, if people get a negative vibe of that person, well, they shouldn't have said what they said then.
Again, right. That's on the person who said it, not on us for saying we don't condone that type of speech. I don't.
It's not a smear. You don't know what you're talking about. It's a fact. Michael Antonio, the term banned. Okay, if I told you what he said, you want to talk about negative connotations.
So you look up the definition of smear. It says it's a premeditated effort to damage the reputation, credibility, or character of an individual, often involving widespread circulation of false information, rumors, half-truths, negative propaganda. Nothing you said was false.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why we're still talking about this.
Knock on wood, Steve. You ever knock on wood?
Of course.
Jerry knocked
He
on
did
wood
it today.
in our interview.
Yeah, does not want you on a flight with him.
I don't want to be anywhere near him either.
Let's check in on the market.
As our chat would say, I won't do it.
Don't do it. Don't say it. Mike from Lee Baldwin and Company as we check in on the market. Mike, how are things going today?
Not so great, guys. Yesterday when we talked, we had a nice rebound coming off a Friday sell-off, and that followed through yesterday afternoon. But today we're giving it all back, and we're actually lower than we were on Friday. The Nasdaq's down another 3.5%, which is 871 points. So that's a big move. Seeing a lot of weakness in technology stocks again. And we'll start off with our dog, which is a SOX index. That's a semiconductor industry index. It's down about 8% today, which is a big move. So that's companies like Micron, Intel, Marvell, AMD, all taking it on the chin again for the second time in 3 days. And our diamond, we're seeing a lot of the boring, old school dividend-paying stocks up today. Smuckers, which is symbol SJM, had earnings this morning. It's up $11 to $113 a share. I know you think jelly, but they also make pet snacks, pet food, Meow Mix, Milk Bones, Hostess treats, Folgers coffee. So Smuckers is having a good day out there in a down market.
Smuckers.
And that's it today, guys.
Who is the weather?
Yeah,
who is the weather guy on the Today Show that used to have the 100-year-old?
Willard
Scott. Yeah, he would have the
that's
Smuckers
right.
jelly.
Yeah, I can't believe I
That's
remember
right.
that. Where did that come
Willard
from?
Scott.
Yeah, blast from the past. Mike, thank you for coming on as always.
Thanks, guys.
All right, all the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com.
I don't know if this crossed over the Mason-Dixon line into this part of the country, but do you guys remember Showbiz Pizza? It was like Chuck E. Cheese, but it was like a jug band of bears that played.
No, I got nothing.
We used to go. It was an arcade as kids, and we'd have pizza and play arcade games.
What was it called?
It was called Showbiz Pizza.
Okay. Went out
Billy
of
Bob.
business.
Billy Bob was the Showbiz. He was the Chuck E. Cheese.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's hit a timeout here. Do you want me to quickly go?
It's an animatronic bear, Steve.
I believe it. So is Chuck E. Cheese. Quickly, Yankees update brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus. Yankees win in 10 innings last night in Cleveland, 7-5. Cody Bellinger, 2-run single in extra innings with the bases loaded. Yankees now 13 games above 500, tied for first with the Rays. Guardians dropped to 37 and 31, still a game and a half up on the White Sox in the Central. Garrett Cole will be on the mound tonight, making his fourth start since returning from Tommy John surgery. And in case you're wondering about the Athletics, I told you real quick before the show, the A's, man, they lost a heartbreaker last night in 12 innings. They led 10-7 late in the game. They gave up that lead. The Brewers came back, tied it at 10. Brewers went up 14-10 in the 10th. A's came back and tied it at 14, and then ended up losing it in 12 innings, 15-14, 11 home runs combined in that game.
If they had Mason Miller, it probably wouldn't have happened.
No, I know. I said this to you before the show. I think the A's are like a relief pitcher or two away from making the playoffs.
A couple starters, too.
I mean, their pitching is rough. They just outscore. Their offense is so good. They need some pitching. So we'll see if they actually...
Way better than I could have ever imagined at this point of the year.
Well, they're hovering right around 500. They're hanging in there.
I like hovering around things.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm a hoverer. Like if I hear someone talking about something, I'll hover. What's going
Eavesdrop.
on? What's going on over here?
All right, that's hour number one. We'll take a break here. I realize we haven't really opened up the phone lines yet. We've had back-to-back interviews, but phone lines will be open all of hour number two, 315-437-7644. We do have blind rankings lined up for the second
I like
hour.
those. Power forwards.
Today's business. We got a lot to get to. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
I don't have the bumps coming back because they play on the same pod as the commercials, and I don't want to have to hit one extra button every break. I want to rock with you. I am a perpetual tool bag. Thank you, Joe, in the YouTube chat. I didn't call anybody a bigot. I said you don't be a bigot and you won't get banned. So stop talking about it. No. Happy Tuesday there, Chipu. Is Uchi Poo in there? What do I classify you as, Gabriel? A psychopath. Stalker. Psychopath stalker. I literally have to walk around now, like looking over my shoulders because of the chat. Not fun, and you're one of them. You started it. Just being honest with you. You terrify me.
Anything stand out to you about the two interviews that you want to talk about, like for the first segment?
No, nothing sticks out. Sibby's going to be an NBA player in a couple years, Steve. That sticks out to me. It's not a project. Gaper, it's true. Like, I didn't say it in a mean way. It's true. I am scared of you. I didn't ban you. I talked to you still. I have been pool drunk. Okay, that's fine. I allow you to say whatever you want about me.
So Theo Cuse, Vinny did say there's going to be other events for fans. Like, he realizes not everybody can pay the $1,000 ticket. So I think they are going to do more things than just this one event. Sounds like it anyway.
Black Cat. Janet Jackson. Hour number 2, Steve. Just regular bumps.
We are driving into that second hour. It's brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero and Burdick Toyota. Big hour number 1, Paulie. We had Gerry McNamara, Vinny Lobdell, Greg Fahey, all on the show. A lot of basketball talk in that first hour. Anything stand out to you from the first hour?
Yeah, Gerry McNamara is looking at the team like it's good. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let me ask you a more pointed question. Do you feel better about the point guard position?
No,
you don't.
I still have a lot of questions about the point guard position till I see it.
Okay.
You know, he's going to be a good defender.
I meant the point guard position as a whole as well.
Because like Ryan Mesh has not played. It's a big jump. We've seen kids do really well in high school and AAU and at prep schools that don't translate at the point guard position in year one. It's a question. But it does sound like he has faith in a lot of people to handle the ball.
That's where I was going with that, as I was wondering if you felt better, because we had been tossing around, is Aiden Tobiasen an option? Is Gavin Doty an option? And we talked about that, right? Because at Siena, Gavin Doty had the ball in his hands quite a bit. He wasn't necessarily the point guard, but when they got into the half-court set, a lot of times he was the one initiating the offense, and Gerry explained that about how, with his sets, there are different ways to get the guy the ball that you want to get the ball to. And I think that, it stands to reason that they've got multiple guys that they feel good about at the point guard position. He mentioned, Ryan Mesh is a pure point guard, but the fact that Gavin Doty can handle the ball, Aiden Tobiasen can handle the ball, obviously Garway Dwal can handle the ball. I think that there are options there that I feel comfortable with that position. Sounds like you don't at this point, but you're right. We're not going to know truly what it looks like until we see it. But again, I think on paper anyway, I think it checks that box. So they're going to be okay at the point guard position.
Fully confident in the center position, but the kid coming in has a lot of attributes that look like William Kyle's.
Yeah.
And could he be that good? Yeah, but that's asking a lot to be what William Kyle was.
Yeah, and, he went back to roster construction and roster retention, too, and that was something that, going back to last year, right, that Donnie Freeman and J.J. Starling, we said that was a key piece to the puzzle. They needed to get those two guys back. And, it sounds like Gerry looked at it the same way in terms of you got to have some holdover, right? You got to have a couple guys that want to stay that you can work with, and they had those guys in Sadiq and Cayenne. And as he pointed out in our interview, and in case people are just tuning in and didn't listen, he said that he made a decision when he got here that he wasn't going to recruit guys out of the portal from Syracuse. Like if they put their name in the portal, he wasn't going to try to convince them otherwise. You had asked me a week or two ago, is there a player that transferred that I wish had come back? And I would say the one guy for me was Tyler Betsy that I felt like fits what Gerry wants to do. I was not a Nathan George guy. And I feel like he was the one. But, he decided to transfer. He's going to BYU. I'm sure he's getting more money. And so you wish him well and good luck. But Gerry pointed out that he wanted to have those two guys as the core, along with, obviously Gavin Doty coming in the Siena contingent. And, they've got a handful of guys that he has relationships with right off the bat. And I think that's certainly going to help with the chemistry and the identity and all that they're trying to build right now over the summer.
Yeah, and we did have someone said that we had faith in Nathan George. Yeah, we had faith in J.J. Starling last year. We had faith in a lot of Donnie Freeman, and it didn't work out. And that's why you got to see it happen. You got to watch these guys play. You got to stay healthy. And I had not thought of this, but Mike Waters yesterday said that not playing the three best games on your schedule right in a row, if someone gets hurt, they may not miss all of the games like Donnie Freeman did.
Yeah.
The way they broke the schedule out is much better this year.
This is more proof that you don't always listen when we talk, because we talked about this like a week ago, and I brought that up. And I said when you have all the games in a row, that can be a problem, whether it's injury or you don't play well for a couple days in a row, or the flu's going through the team, or whatever the case may be. If you have those three games in all one fell swoop, now, you put yourself behind the eight ball, as you like to say. So I like the fact that they're spaced out. I like the fact that they can prepare. If one game doesn't go well, they have time to bounce back and kind of reset themselves before they go into the next big game. I like how they're spaced out. And again, I like how they're not all top 10 opponents, right? There are varying degrees of difficulty of these non-conference games, which I think is a good thing as well. You don't put all your eggs in the basket of we got to upset a top 10 opponent in order to get in the tournament. You've got 5 non-conference games of varying degrees of difficulty. You win, multiple games, and I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself going into conference play, as we've discussed. You don't always listen to me, Paulie.
What?
See? I know you're reading the chat. You're distracted. But, it is a good point. That I like the way the non-conference schedule is mapped out this year. I think it's better than it was last year in terms of how it was put together. And some of it, like, it's not their fault. They got to play 3 games in 3 days in Vegas. But if you go to that tournament, you're rolling the dice that you're going to be able to win at least one of those games, and it didn't happen last year.
Yeah, and the other thing about Jerry, your guy Sibby, he's high on, said he could be on NBA draft boards in 2 or 3 years.
I knew you were going to say something along those lines. I don't think he's a project, and I stand by that. And listening to Jerry today, I'm even more convinced now that he's not a project. You're not on draft boards in 2 years if you're a project.
He may not be on draft boards. Just
okay,
put that out there.
I understand, but I don't think they look at him as. He even said we don't look at any of these guys as filler pieces. Again, watch his highlights, Paul. Hang on.
But you don't go into the season looking at them as filler pieces until you see them play, and then somebody eventually ends up being a filler piece.
I'm saying you look at his highlights though, and you can't accidentally do some of the things that he was doing. That was my point. I stand by it. I don't think he's a project. I think he's a guy who's going to be in the mix. And one thing we haven't discussed much of, and that is Mark Morano Mamatovic. And it sounds like we talk about, is there enough three-point shooting?
Yeah.
It sounds like he might be the guy to fit the bill there from three-point range.
That's right. And he also said that we have to see if he can shoot. Yeah.
Right.
If he's knocking his shots down, he's going to play.
Right. So. But again, three-point shot's a three-point shot. Obviously how open he is, or the defenses will change, the athleticism will change. But, from overseas to here. But making shots is making shots, and it sounds like this guy can make shots and do so at a very high level. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We've got today's business still to get to. I want to leave time for blind rankings. We got to get to that as well.
Yes. People love those.
And your phone calls if you want to check in on anything Jerry said today, or Greg Fahey. It was great catching up with both of them, as well as Vinny Lobdell. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
I think you're going for a world record of bad takes today, Michael Antonio. I don't think if they get blown out by St. John's, their season will end. Steve's eating a oat bar, right? Kind breakfast protein bar. I'm not unforgiving. I can forgive all I want. I just don't want certain things said in our chat. Yeah, you have to. Michael Antonio, you have to play quad 1 games. If you don't have any powerhouse schools, you will not go to the tournament. Yes, we brought it up. Okay, Michael Antonio. I can't do this anymore. I was joking with Gaper. Now he's mad at me again because I called him a psycho. They wanted to play in the Garden. They're playing St. John's. It's freaking Syracuse. Play St. John's. They're also playing Rutgers. That's fine. You can play 1 or 2 games that the teams are better than you. Providence and Rutgers are winnable games. Indiana and St. John's are really good teams that they'll probably have to play well to win. But yeah, okay, so they shouldn't play them ever. You know what? They shouldn't play anybody good. You go take your pussy schedule and go somewhere else. Just embrace it, for God's sakes. Just.
Paul said he's been spinning a wheel for like 20 power forwards.
Yeah. He does like a randomizer. Yeah, we do it once, and then we get another crack at it because it always goes quicker than we think. So we always have extra time. And what he's been doing is
Michael Antonio. He
spins the wheel
roster
while we're
changes
talking
every
about
year.
the previous one because the wheel takes a while for it to land on somebody. So.
They should just leave the ACC year one completely. Yeah.
Probably pull it down a little bit just for like a clip purpose, I guess.
My mic is.
We'll figure it out.
So I tried that, but then it goes up.
Yeah.
My mic has lost all of its motivation to stand up.
How do you want me to have it?
That's fine. I just like Vinny lockdown was just cut off, so there's no way to like really clip in from earlier today, which is, I mean, Jerry wasn't clear, which is an important thing, but we just got to remember that when we have like guests and stuff.
Gotcha.
I saw that. Did they explain, Jen, how he got killed? I was asking Steve and Tim about that earlier. Did he get hit in the chest with a ball?
1-800-LAW-1010. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, 1200 AM and 1440 AM.
If you're using
Watch your
Rutgers
favorite
football as where you want
Syracuse
Syracuse
sports talk
basketball to be,
shows on
that's a bad analogy.
QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Ooh, Key Sweat, Steve. I want her. She doesn't want me, Steve.
How do you know?
Oh, I know.
All right, Tim's here.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Hold on, you're on mic 3 this time.
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, so are all of our microphones.
So exciting that we've got 4 mics again.
It only took, what?
Well, it took Gerry McNamara coming into studio, but
yeah, I had to go, hey, we kind of got Gerry McNamara coming in. Can you fix the microphones?
Good.
Imagine that.
We're back in action here.
Yep. Today's business is brought to you by Superior Plus Propane. We begin with some unfortunate news for Syracuse and fortunate news for a really great guy in John O'Derna. The men's lacrosse defensive coordinator, John O'Derna, is now the new head coach at Fairfield, according to reports. And we talked about this throughout the season. I think it's pretty clear as the guy who calls the men's lacrosse games that I think very highly of John O'Derna and how good of a coach he is. And we kind of knew that maybe this might be the year. I think we just have always thought of him as someone that is due for a head coaching job again. Remember, he was the head coach at Manhattan when Gary Gate hired him. I thought it was a terrific hire. It worked very well for 3 years, and now some pretty big shoes to fill for Syracuse.
Yeah, I am happy for him. I mean, every time we had him on, I always left feeling like I knew more about lacrosse than I did before the interview, and he always had a great way of explaining the game plan to us or what happened in a certain game, and he does. He sounds like a head coach. Like, when they say, do they sound presidential or, whatever, he sounds presidential. He sounds like he's somebody who could be a CEO of a program, somebody who can be in charge. We experienced that earlier today with Jerry. Jerry sounds like a head coach. John O'Derna sounds like a head coach. So I'm so glad that he's getting another opportunity to do this. And it does leave a void for Syracuse. And you know better than anybody, Tim, this is going to be a highly coveted job. and it'll be interesting to see who he gets. I know that there have been some people, even who I've just kind of come across in the community, just talking lacrosse, saying, what do you think about Lars Tiffany? Do you think that's an option, Tim? Do you think that? I mean, I guess anything's an option.
Yeah.
How realistic of an option is it?
I'll say that I would be pretty surprised. I don't know anything on it. I mean, I'm just sort of, my educated guess would be that it would surprise me if Lars Tiffany took the job, and I don't know if it's a logical fit, maybe, and maybe some people will push back on that and say, no, it's a perfect opportunity, but we've joked about maybe Lars Tiffany when SMU becomes an ACC school. It does seem like SMU is trending that way. I just see him becoming a head coach, and maybe he sits out a year to be a head coach for SMU next year, or it's a different school next year that opens up. It would surprise me, I think, just given how good of a coach Lars Tiffany is, that he would be the DC at Syracuse next year.
Were you surprised, though, that Dave Petramala came here?
Yes, yeah. And I think, you could make a case that worked. You could also make a case it didn't really work. I think the years under John O'Derna were a little bit more successful, but they also just had better personnel. And the guys were more experienced. And Dave Petramala is now in a very good situation, obviously getting in a way to coach some of his sons at UNC or two of his sons. And also UNC is in a very good spot going forward with the roster that they have. So, yeah, it's a really interesting one because I do feel like, a lot of people always ask me, Gary Gates kind of more of a CEO. He's not the head coach. Does that style work? Can that work? And I always say that when you have a guy like John O'Derna and a guy like Pat March, I think it definitely can work because if you have really strong assistant coaches, sometimes that's the best thing a head coach can do is just kind of get out of the way. And Gary falls back on his experience when he watched Roy Simmons, who was the head coach, and that was kind of his mindset is I'm more of the CEO and I'm going to let my great assistants be the tacticians in game. And when Gary was an assistant coach, he liked to be sort of in that role where he was empowered and he could run the show and run the offense. And one coach runs the defense, and John O'Derna was in charge of the clears, and everyone had their roles here. And now, John O'Derna was a head coach. So is Gary Gate going to look for someone that has been a head coach before to kind of keep that similar philosophy? Or is this going to be the opportunity where Gary Gate now steps in more and says, I'm going to sort of fill a different role, and we're going to, maybe they just elevate Drew Bezick, who's on staff as the director of lacrosse operations right now, and Gary becomes more of the vocal coach? Because to me, he has just always sort of decided based on what the assistant coaches are, that's how he is going to coach. And John O'Derna was such a great assistant coach, and I'm sure they will get another great assistant coach, but it will be fascinating what the philosophy is of that assistant coach. Is it someone that has been a head coach before? Yeah,
and I think we're all going to be interested to see what happens because you're right. There's a couple different ways they could go, a couple different avenues they could go down, and I'm just happy for Coach O that he's moving on. He's going to have his own program to run again.
Yeah, he'll be closer to home, and I think that could be a really good school in the CAA. They've got a good recruiting footprint there in Fairfield, and I think he will be very, very successful. So we will definitely miss Coach O. Other news in today's business.
I just want to hit one thing really quick before I want to interrupt. Jay Hughes, 44, first concert ever he went to, Steve. I don't remember this because I would have gone to it back then at the War Memorial. Belle Biv DeVoe, Keith Sweat, Johnny Gill, ABC.
I don't remember that either. Man, what year was that?
It had to be like early 90s. 91. That's
a good first concert.
It's a banger of a concert.
Yeah.
I've been staring at that going, I would go to that today. Although ABC might not work.
Yeah.
Because they're adults.
Yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't have the same sound.
I'm going to say this out loud. I'm probably going to do a deep dive of Where Are They Now, ABC. Another bad creation. I got to write that.
When you run out of defunct stores of the day, you could do that.
Yeah. Where Are They Now bands?
Yeah.
Another bad creation. Find out what they're up to.
And, whatever happened with Aisha? Are they still...
She's a girl that I never had, Steve.
Are they still talking? Are they talking at all? All right. Go ahead, Tim. What else you got?
I was going to say the Brendan Sorsby stuff. I believe you guys discussed it a little bit yesterday, of course, when it came out that an injunction was put in place. He's now eligible as it stands right now for next year, despite betting on his own team and the NCAA ruling him ineligible. Now the chatter last night even is you see a lot of schools stepping forward, or at least reports that schools are saying they are not going to schedule Texas Tech. There were some comments from the Big 12 commissioner. I heard Paul Feinbaum on ESPN today saying that this really falls to the Big 12 commissioner to come in and do something about this because it's going to get out of hand. And I mean, there's legitimate talk of Texas Tech being boycotted by other schools in response to this. And I know you guys hit on it a little bit yesterday, but I am fascinated what will be the reaction from leagues, from coaches, from other high-ranking members in the NCAA, et cetera, going forward, because this is probably just a messy one that's only starting, I think.
They can't let him play.
Yeah.
He can't play. If he can play, then there truly are just no rules, right? I mean, no rules. We were talking in one of the commercial breaks about, actions have consequences. And there's no gray area when it comes to games. It's not like you could play dumb and be like, well, I thought, or, I didn't realize. No, everybody knows. Like, athletes are set, you sit them down when they get to campus. And, I mean, everybody knows the rules. They can't let him play. I don't know how it all plays out. And Paulie said yesterday that it's going to get shot down in the court. Somebody's going to rule in the favor of the NCAA. I don't know, because this day and age, everybody just they file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit until they get an answer they like. This cannot be the precedent moving forward. There are certain things you can't do as a college athlete, and that is one of them. So. I hope that this thing gets sorted out, and I don't know what the answer is if he is allowed to play. I mean, I guess good for those schools, but the conference isn't going to have a say, right? Like, the conference members are going to have to play their conference member, right? It's not like they can get out of those games, and if you're a non-conference team, you're probably making some money to play Texas Tech, so I don't know. Are people, are schools truly going to step up? The schools on their schedule, are they truly going to step up to the plate and say, no, we're going to put our foot down on this one, because that could be they might take a financial hit for doing so.
Yeah, it's just a terrible precedent. I can't remember which coach it was, but I saw a quote surfing through Twitter yesterday. I think it was a Big 12 coach said something, and he was a little tongue-in-cheek probably in saying this, but he said something like, I guess my job now as the coach is to tell my players, go bet on games. You can go make some more money, and there's no repercussions if you do bet on games.
Right.
Like, where are we at right now if this is allowed? How do you tell your players to stop betting? Or
right, and so for the excuses of, well, he wasn't really playing at Indiana, and he was betting on his team to win, or it's not that bad, or to your point, if you can bet as a college athlete, that is going to open up just a whole can of, you talk about cheating and fixing games and come on, like, what are we doing here? What, right? This can't be okay, and I don't care if it's this is the reason it can't be okay,
right?
Because you open up that can of worms and it's going to go in the wrong direction very quickly.
Do you think there's any chance Texas Tech's AD or Texas Tech's coaches just step forward and say, you know what? We've seen a lot of backlash, like, just for the betterment of the sport, we've decided we're not going to allow him to play.
I hope so. I hope,
Good luck with that.
He's got until
that's not happening.
He's got until the end of June to enter the supplemental draft, right? I hope that this gets resolved by then. Exactly what you're saying. I hope someone sits him down, whether it's the school or his, inner circle, or I hope that somebody gets to him and says that, this is the best route. Well,
I know, Paul, you're like, that's not going to happen. I mean, yesterday, the guy Cody Campbell, who is their billionaire investor for Texas Tech, and he's also, I think, overseeing the new College Sports Act that's come out, he came out and was like staunchly against this and said that was a terrible ruling. And he's the guy that probably funded Brendan Sorsby to come to Texas Tech. So if he's saying it, I mean, at least it's maybe a chance that some of the Texas Tech people are like, this is kind of ridiculous. We shouldn't let this happen for the betterment of the sport. I hope that's what they do.
Yeah, and people are in the chatter saying, well, everybody's doing it probably. Well, but he got caught.
Yeah. If he gets away with it, then literally everyone might start doing it.
He got caught, and he's being told right now. He's being told it's okay, you can play. And so if it's out in the open and it's allowed, everybody can see what will happen next. This can't be allowed. This can't be okay.
Well, it also just goes back to the Will Wade LSU conversation too, because it feels like they're exposing that you can find a judge who's, I mean, for all we know, and I think the judge is a Houston alum because they didn't allow a Texas Tech alum to oversee it, but this guy may have gotten some threats from Texas Tech fans if he didn't give him the injunction, right? Like, you're probably just human nature going to lean with the area you're around, and I think Will Wade is just hoping that he finds a generous Louisiana judge to get his roster to have all these international players. And Paulie and I were joking about this before the show. I mean, Jerry's in here talking about practice and getting to see his guys. Will Wade has like 4 guys that he could practice with. Like, I don't even know what they're doing because they're just hoping a judge clears these guys.
Yeah. And just to go back to the Sorsby case in particular, you can't be allowed to bet on your sport or your team, even if you're betting on them to win. Because, again, like, aside from officials, which players have the most impact on the game? It's pitchers in baseball, right? And we saw pitchers get dinged on the Guardians for throwing a ball. Like, he's probably thinking to himself, who does this hurt if I throw a ball to start the inning, right? If you're the quarterback and as long as we win, but we don't win by 13.5 points or more, I'll just throw this pick 6 here. I'll take a knee here. We're backed up to our own goal line with 10 seconds left. I'll take the safety here. Like, that can't be okay, right? The quarterback, more than anyone, can affect the outcome of a game or a point spread or whatever the case may be. So, anyway, the rules are in place for a reason. This can't be allowed.
All right, Paul, you got a kicker?
Dateline, speaking of Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. Guys, Dickies Arena is looking for a new name because the company that owns Dickies has not been paying their bill for the naming rights. So the Dickie Dome is looking for a new naming right. You got to pay your bills, guys. There's ramifications for everything.
Yeah.
So, apparently the company was bought, and the new company just stopped paying the naming rights for.
Do we know how much the naming rights were?
I
always ask follow-up questions.
That he has no idea about.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money. Steve.
I'm surprised you didn't do its National 69 Day and
come on, let's
put
grow
Steve
up.
On the spot.
Let's grow up.
That was probably, he talked about 6-7 Day.
Yeah, right. Well, that's for children and wholesome. This is a wholesome show. Can you believe he talks like that?
That's probably coming up in the overtime show, right? Or you're saving that for Orange Nation
overtime?
I
would never do that. Come on. I highbrow.
I play a game within myself of guess Paulie's kicker, and that was my guess today.
No.
Usually it's the most raunchy. I mean, you went for the Dickies Dome. Let's not act like you're high and mighty here.
Yeah. Do you know what it means if they don't have a name, though? They're now...
Yes. That's where the kicker comes in.
Yes. It's National Donald Duck Day. That's wholesome.
That is wholesome. Okay. We got to get to blind rankings. We'll take a break here. We'll get to blind rankings next on ESPN Radio.
This is Orange Nation.
If you're listening on the radio, you can watch us too. QSportsTalk.com. There's a conspiracy theory on YouTube right now that I don't have a hat on today because I had hair implants. No, I'm dressed like this today. I had to make a presentation to the sales staff, so I wanted to look nice.
He still wore jeans though.
Yeah, to just take a shot at him?
No, I'm not taking a shot. I'm just saying if you truly want to look nice, you could have thrown like khakis on.
Sorry. Because they're dickless now, Steve.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Thanks.
I was following you there.
Never been drunk at the Thompson Road Tavern now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That would be a fun game. Places you've been drunk. Ever been drunk in a mall?
Well, I guess like the beer What was the place in Destiny?
Beer garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Beer world or whatever.
Yeah, the world of beer. Jeez. Oh, he maybe just died out there. Never been to the Thompson Road Tavern. Oh, no, Mike. Fourth is solid, though. Make any cash for fourth? Wish I could have played. Yeah, the original judge did recuse himself because he was a Texas Tech alum. But I mean, oh, you can't even see me on the camera. Yeah, I don't even know if I can get much closer, honestly. Family is great. It's a good trip down south. Went to a friend's wedding. That was great. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the camera. I got a little tighter. I'm like all up on it. Ah, that stinks. It rained. Same course, Mike, as last year. Forget the name of it, but approach shots are kind of everything in a scramble, honestly.
I have never been drunk at Buttons Arcade. Bennigan's, yes, I have been drunk at a Bennigan's. Drunk at Tully's, definitely. 1 minute. You'd like to do your show? I've been to Buttons. I've never been drunk at Buttons. Don't even know what I've been McMonkey's drunk. Do you remember McMonkey's?
Forget how to adjust.
I have been drunk in the Beeville Diner. I didn't get drunk at the Beeville Diner. Yeah, Tim's back from vacation. From being fired.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Am I even in the video? They were saying.
Yeah.
We
scooched you over there.
I think the cameras need to be moved. No, I haven't been drunk as a strip club DJ. Never drunk at Galaxy. Little Bobby Brown for you, buddy.
I like it.
Here, I'll let the chat enjoy this too.
Imagine that.
Who cares?
All right, I guess blind rankings is all you guys did when I was gone.
Yeah, we love everybody's favorite segment.
Yeah,
everyone.
Sweeping the nation.
Sweeping the nation.
Yeah, so we're doing power forwards. I've got a list of 18 power forwards, and I just followed Paul's rules on this because he said he mixed in some guys. Like, I did not just do the top 20 or top 15 power forwards. I've got some recent guys, some older guys, some middle tier.
So we might get like Billy Seelick or something. That's
He's
possible.
a center.
I
have something I'd like to say, Steve. I put my hand up to speak.
Okay, what do you need?
You know how you occasionally say someone will stop you and say, "Is Paulie really like that?" And someone asked me yesterday if you were really like that about the blind rankings.
What? Like what?
Do you not get that you can't look at their stats for the blind rankings? Like, this person said,
hang on.
Steve seems like he is obsessed with giving his opinion on something and it not being okay. Like,
so here's the thing about blind rankings, and I don't care if I do it or you do it. I think someone needs to, for our listeners, provide context, because otherwise it just becomes like who our favorite players were.
No, it's you going through your mind and giving your take on who the best is.
Okay.
It doesn't make your favorite.
But, okay. But it helps to make your case if you have some facts to back it up, or stats, or this is why I put this guy.
It shows you how big of a fan you are.
Okay, but for you to say like, I really, I don't know. It's fine. If you're not, if it's just like you're
blind. You have nothing in play.
Okay.
What I would say is, I think when we do the top 5 list, you got to have stats, right? Because we're going to publish that, and we want to be like, this guy's number 1, this guy's 2, and here's our reasoning and logic.
Yeah. I'm a logical person, so I like to talk things through.
Yeah, I think blind rankings by nature, when you watch, which I know you don't, Steve, but like this blew up on TikTok, right? It's just guy who's like, I'm just, rolling the Rolodex of names, and I got Kobe Bryant. Okay, I'm going to put Kobe Bryant number 2, and then I got Jeff Teague. Oh, shoot, I got to put him 9. Like, there's not really much rhyme or reason to it. And then some of the fun ones is...
It's what it is.
Oh, gosh, you put Jeff Teague ahead of Kobe because you had no spot at the end.
Right. Okay.
So, blind, like a blind person can't look at stats.
So, if we do it that way, the segment is going to go very quickly if we do it like that. That's all.
No, it's not.
Because there's not going to be a lot of debate. It's just going to be like, well, I think this.
No, because yesterday we had the talk about Art Monk. And you guys seem to be, I'm a little older than you. Art Monk was drafted in the first round and was good. And you guys seem to think that he stunk at Syracuse.
I didn't say stink. Hang on. Because I had somebody at Channel 9 say the same thing yesterday to me.
The way it came across.
That's not what I meant. I said I had Art Monk third of the on the list, right? I had Marvin Harrison, I had Rob Moore, and I had Art Monk. You had Art Monk second with Rob Moore third.
The way you said it was like, he was okay here, and then but he got drafted 18th.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Power forwards. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. Let's go.
This is fun.
The fun
We're
out of
having
this.
fun.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Power forwards. I spun the wheel already. Jeremy Grant is the first one.
Ooh, that's a tough one because
Jeremy Grant, he is definitely third.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk it through. There's a lot of...
I'm having fun.
We wanted him to give a stance blindly. He
okay,
did.
go ahead. You third. There. Well, you want to play like that?
Third for Jeremy Grant.
How many did you say there are? There's like 20 of them?
There's 18 to be exact. We're going to do it twice, right?
Well, this is the one that counts. Is there... Out of the 18, are there 2 more better than him?
Well, again, he didn't say he took the top 18, so we don't know who he's got in the list. But
it's a lot of really good players.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I think he's probably like third or fourth.
I would go third.
Yeah, I said third.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think in general, it's good to start out with a safe third. You give you guys some space
Gives
on
us
either
some
side.
flexibility.
There you go.
Yeah. Next one is Donnie Freeman.
Oh,
5. Yeah. He might be top 5 at St. John's, but not here.
Not here.
It is crazy. Paul and I did an exercise recently where we drafted best Syracuse basketball players from the last 10 years. Donnie, from a stats perspective, probably should have been in consideration to be drafted, but we never even contemplated him. Like, we hold Quincy Guerrier in much higher regard, I'd say. We hold O'Shea Brissett in higher regard, but their stats are pretty comparable to Donnie.
I think some of it has to do with expectations too, and team success. They, obviously he was relied upon to be the guy, and he just never was. He was never really healthy, and he did not live up to expectations.
Mm-hmm.
The expectations were sky high when he got here for Donnie. And it just didn't pan out that way. And I think O'Shea Brissett kind of blossomed here. Even Quincy Guerrier, same type of thing. Like, they didn't come here with the label of, being the biggest, the highest ranked recruit since Carmelo. Like, they didn't have to live up to that. And Donnie did not live up to it.
Yeah. Quincy goes to Oregon, and I think everyone was like, it's kind of a bummer we lost Quincy. But Donnie going to St. John's, he's considered a top 15 player in the portal class. It's kind of crazy.
Do you know what another thing people are doing right now, Steve, that we should try to do once is you name a player at Syracuse, like you go, I can name one player better than Sherman Douglas. And then I go,
you can name two.
Yeah, and you go back and forth until the person goes, okay, then go ahead and do it. And you have to. That's a fun one. That's a car game.
And then you could yell at each other over is he better than Sherman Douglas?
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
This quick story. You guys know I was visiting my family in North Carolina this past week. That's why I wasn't here. My brother's son, he's 7 years old, my nephew, we're in the pool. We were playing like a pool game where I'm on the wall of the pool and he swims towards me if he knows the answer. And we were trying to get sports players because he's all into like sports cards right now. And I'm like, all right, I'm thinking of a Buffalo Bills player. He starts darting towards me. Like immediately he thinks he knows the player I'm thinking of. And it was right. He taps me and he's like, Josh Allen is the player. I'm like, how'd you know Josh Allen? Like for sure. And he's like, oh, the Bills don't have any other good players.
Man, you should be on this show.
Yeah. And I was like, man, what a diss to Steve's
Catching
team.
strays.
Yeah.
Paulie's texting me.
That kid is factual. I like it.
All right. Next one. Oh, shit. I didn't even spin it as we were talking there. I got to spin it one more time. We've had Donnie Freeman, Jeremy Grant, and Rick Jackson is the next one.
4.
Okay.
Rick Jackson was a center, right?
Yeah. Should I spin it again?
Yeah, but that's a tough. He was a center.
I'd put Jeremy Grant ahead of him.
He was all Big East. If you're going by what they did at Syracuse,
I'm getting all the new guys here. We can take out Rick Jackson if you decline.
Spin it again.
The next guy I got is Quincy Guerrier.
Yeah, 4.
So
this has worked out so far. Now we need like a DC or John. We need a big name here.
Right. And John Wallace is the next guy.
1 or 2. You're banking on Derek Coleman, right?
What about Billy Owens?
You're banking on 2 guys coming up ahead of him. I would put him 1, right?
I think, probably, for the odds.
Yeah,
the odds.
All right, we'll go John Wallace.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're making the team. John Wallace.
I think we've got it right so far.
It's killing you right now to not know their stats. Like, what if Quincy Guerrier was?
No, it's not. No, and it wasn't even for me. More so, it's just to help drive the segment along, like to give people some context of this is what we're, this is the kind of player he was. Anyway, go ahead, Tim.
The next one is Derek Coleman. Oh. You should have put him 2, I guess.
I hate this game.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think you guys did well overall.
Yeah, I mean,
what are the chances?
It's not like you got Quincy Guerrier ahead of Derek Coleman or something crazy.
I mean, that top 3 of Wallace, Coleman, Grant, I probably would take, like, if you had to, without being an angry Syracuse fan, I would probably take Donnie Freeman over. I would probably put Donnie over Quincy also.
Yeah, if you want one guy on your team tomorrow, I think
Donnie
you want
or
Donnie.
Quincy, yeah, you take Donnie in a second.
The fan base is not going to like that.
No, it's the truth,
yeah. Though. I mean, we can pull up their stats, Steve, if you'd like.
Quincy couldn't put the ball on the floor.
Quincy played harder than Donnie. I don't know.
No, he didn't want to. He didn't want to play hard. That's why he left.
Man.
Didn't want to.
No, he left because he wanted to shoot threes.
Yes,
right.
they wanted him to be a rebounder. Donnie was a better rebounder than him.
Okay, I don't feel like Donnie played hard all the time when he was out there.
Yeah, even when he wasn't playing harder, he was better than Quincy
I don't know
Guerrier.
about that. I don't know about that.
So they both had 2 years here. Quincy, less expectations. First year didn't start a game, 7 points. Then he makes a big leap.
And they were better
yeah. Second year, he had a really good season. I think he was all ACC 3rd team this year. He had 14 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 49% shooter from the floor, only 31% from 3, attempting 2.6 threes per game. Then he goes to Oregon. He attempted 4.5 threes per game. Next year at Oregon, 4.0. Final year, remember, he did play at Illinois, too. 9.6 points per game, 3 threes per game in his final year of college.
I tend to think I would take Donnie Freeman over Quincy Guerrier.
Okay, give me Quincy, and we'll win.
All right.
Donnie had 17 points per game, 7 rebounds. He was an honorable mention All-ACC guy this year. But only played 37 games in 2 years, wasn't as durable.
I don't know. And attitude matters too. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yours stinks today, by the way, during this segment. By the way, Derek Coleman, no question, number one, right?
Yes. Are we doing this exercise twice? Or
no, I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay. Yeah.
If you pro career and college career, who would you take, John Wallace or Jeremy Grant?
That's a good question.
Because I think I would take Jeremy Grant.
In terms of who was better,
John Wallace could shoot the ball better. Like he was.
I think that John Wallace's 96 run.
Oh yeah, crazy.
It gives him the nod
over his career. But I said NBA career.
No, I know, but in terms of
it's a tough one.
When you talk about best players in SU history, but you can take into account their pro career as well. Like if we had this conversation yesterday with Art Monk, I think Wallace still gets the nod because of what he did in 96. Like I still think that elevates him.
Didn't Jeremy Grant get to
all-time greats? Well, you look back.
How far did that team? Oh no, they lost.
They lost to
Dayton. That's right.
Yeah. They couldn't make a jump shot in that game, and that was a very disappointing way for the season to end. I think that elevates Wallace. So if you're talking about the all-time greats at that position, even taking into account the NBA, and yes, Jeremy Grant has had a wonderful NBA career, I think Wallace gets the nod because of what he did in 96.
All right. If I had to take a pick of, I would probably take, right now, if I was drafting, I would take Jeremy Grant over John Wallace. That's just my take.
In terms of a better player?
Yeah, I would. And that's just like my Johnny Flynn over every point guard that ever played at Syracuse, including Pearl and Sherm. But we'll get you.
Man.
Johnny Flynn would cook those guys. Just
so it's funny you should say that because I literally just the other night, I've seen Requiem for the Big East probably 30 times in my life. And it happened to be on the other night.
That's fat Walter Berry guarding freaking Johnny Flynn. Get out of here.
That's one of those that I watch no matter what. If it's on, I'm invested immediately.
Yeah.
And just being reminded of how good Pearl was. Like you watch him play,
but
he was in, and you had the guys from the other teams talking about him and saying like we had our best defender on him, like in all
because nobody had ever
conference defender, and no one could stop him.
But because nobody had ever seen that before, what he was doing. Now every kid is doing what Pearl did now.
But you say like Johnny Flynn would cook Pearl. Like, I don't know about that because he was never the fastest, right? He was never the most athletic, but Pearl cooked everybody who guarded, like everyone. Like no one could stop him.
Yeah, because nobody had seen that before.
All right. I don't know. I'm not willing to say that Johnny Flynn was better than any point guard that's ever played here, but.
I did say that, like career-wise, college career-wise, maybe not. No, but if I had to draft a point guard, I'm taking Johnny Flynn over all of them. Not hurt though. Not prior to hip injury.
No hip injury, Johnny Flynn. All right, let's hit a break here. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
This is Orange Nation.
This morning we had a chance to catch up with Gerry McNamara.
What do you want fans
and
to
yes,
know
I've
about
probably
this
seen Requiem for Big East 30 times. So
those two kids
you guys don't know this, but I actually worked on that show. They one of the producers of the show, his name is Rob Fisher.
Means something different. What's lost in all of that is our love
he asked all of
these guys are
all the different affiliates
put a roster together
in the
that's
Big East for help.
Orange
and I
Nation
spent probably 3 or 4 months working on that show.
97.7 and 100.1.
And so yes, I watched it many times.
Winter beat it up.
There's
spring finished the job. Yeah, your car's been through a lot. Good news. At Splash, they fix relationships. Join any of their unlimited memberships for a limited time and get their spring cleaning package free. That's a $25 glow up. With undercarriage for the grime you don't see, Ceramax for the extra ceramic protection, and Graphex for that that shiny shine. Splash, because you deserve a better wash.
Back then.
Oh, really?
Here we go. Get ready for 3 days of horsepower, hot rods, and nonstop action. The Napa Auto Parts Syracuse Nationals roars back into the New York State Fairgrounds.
Sorry. You guys wanted to hear the bumps.
Yeah. You should do, you ever heard of the Rewatchables podcast movie? They just go over old movies.
It's 6-9 day. I forgot. Good one. 6-10 tomorrow.
You should do a Rewatchables 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Start that podcast. Beer.
Yeah, guys, I know you couldn't hear me. What I was saying was I said I had probably seen that particular 30 for 30 30 times. I was saying that I worked on the show. They had one of the producers had reached out to a few of the different affiliates in the Big East, TV affiliates, ABC affiliates generally, because of the ties to ESPN. I worked on that show for about 3 or 4 months in terms of helping to produce the Syracuse part of it. And I'm actually on the credit list at the bottom.
Sal, look at me.
No, I'm just saying though that I've watched it many times. And like leading up to it, I watched it many times. Anyway, but yeah, you forget how good Pearl was, man.
I once sat in the crowd at Bozo the Clown. I didn't do that. I just wanted to be cool. Well, this vote's over.
What do you got?
You just shut up. Sorry I had to talk to you that way. But sometimes I got to tell you to shut up. You can't know until it's time.
Do you know what I'm saying on blind rankings, though? Like, it's not necessarily for my purposes. I just feel like it's good to help drive the conversation along.
I wish you would.
Let's put this in the context for people.
I kind of prefer doing like the top 5 because then it's like more thought out and it's a longer segment, like you're saying, and then we can put out a graphic and that leads to kind of chatter online about it. Maybe like the blind ranking, we can't put out this because then people would be like, why do they have Derek Coleman second? Or
that's not what I said, guys. Putting
CJC, it's not a humble brag. I was just saying why I've watched it so many times.
Cuse, Pearl did put Cuse on the map, but if I had to draft a point guard from Syracuse, I'd take Johnny Flynn. Maybe I want to slap Steve. What if I want to slap Steve when he says...
Why did that make you angry? How did that make you angry
You
today?
just can't have... you just can't grasp what a
that
blind
was so
ranking
fun.
is.
Like, I just said 3 right away. That was the most fun I've had today.
Yeah.
See, I can't...
It's got to be 3.
I just want to punch him in the dick.
I think you're also just... You're worried, like...
You're going to give an answer that doesn't...
But you can give a little more than it's got to be 3. You can find that fine line.
Yeah, you can't just 3. I'm such a
doing
punk.
it to spite us. Yeah.
Now that was fun. I got to admit.
I'm just trying to have fun. Trying to help. That's right, guys. I'm just trying to help.
Listen to ESPN Radio Syracuse for your chance to win tickets to SU games and concerts. The Charles Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical Ticket Window. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
Oh, your song. Do the robot, Steve. Oh,
this is Orange Nation.
You can't not do it. How you like them apples?
I love how this is my song.
You remember I picked this song into the bumps because of you.
I know you did.
You're a freakazoid. Robot. Ray Charles, 2 Live Crew, Wings, the Paul McCartney band. Rick Astley or De La Soul. De La Soul, Rick Astley, Wings, 2 Live Crew, Ray Charles.
I feel like it's just going to be De La Soul no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't like the others either. So
De La Soul is dead.
Me, Myself, and I.
That's one of their albums. I see. 2 Live Crew is good. It would be so much work to get that on the air, but I'll try it someday.
Maybe we'll actually have an artist of the day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
I was in meetings today, and we had to tape that interview with Jerry.
Well, you've been here since 8:15, so.
Pete Moore, the SID for SU men's basketball, told me he was disappointed that Greg didn't get asked for his artist of the day. He prepped him for all his question.
No. Paulie, come on.
He did a lot of work, and
well,
he's totally joking. First off, but I assume.
And I kept pointing to Paulie. He's like, "Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?" You had ample opportunity. Let us down.
I let him down.
Yeah.
I don't care about letting. There's a new guy in town, and he wanted to fit in, and I let him down. I didn't let you
He
down.
probably had a good answer because he was prepped,
Yeah,
too.
and I didn't. And
Can you find out from Pete who he would have picked?
I can probably make that happen, and that could be our artist of the day.
It could be our artist of the day on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you like De La Soul
I
too
am
much.
a terrible person. Yeah, De La Soul isn't getting.
Yeah, report back to us tomorrow with the answer after we have De La Soul.
Poor Wilson Phillips. He just got kicked to the curb.
Yeah, they're performing. So, okay, I do have one question to you. I have one celebrity connection in my life, right? And I want to get a meet and greet with Wilson Phillips to give away and personally.
Mm-hmm.
Do I call said celebrity and say, hey, can you get me a meet and greet with your sister-in-law?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. You never do these types of things. It's not like she's Taylor Swift right now. Like, they might be flattered.
Okay. Be like, hey, your sister-in-law, she's the Phillips in the Wilson Phillips. I'd like to give away a meet and greet.
Do you have another reason to contact said person?
Yeah, I talk to him a lot.
Yeah, so work it into the conversation. Like, hey, by the way, this came up the other day on the radio.
Oh no, I'm just gonna text him. Hey, bro.
All right. Yes, I think you should.
You owe me one.
You should make the ask. I think absolutely make the ask.
All right, let's get this over so we can get your other show over with us.
All right, we're out of time. For Tim, for Paulie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, everybody.